Hello and welcome to our devotion time. Today I will be reading out of the book, The Way Back to Mayberry. Today's title is, She's Nice, She's Real Nice. And the episode is titled, A Date for Gomer. Let us listen to the words from Colossians chapter 3, verses 12 through 14. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other and forgive whatever grievances you may have against one another. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. And over all these virtues put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. It seems that Andy and Barney have a problem. It's only a couple of days until the big Chamber of Commerce dance, and Thelma Lou's cousin, Mary Grace, has come to visit for a few days. The problem is that Thelma Lou will not go to the dance with Barney unless they can set up a date for Mary Grace as well. At first, Barney protests. It would be impossible to find a date for Mary Grace, he says, because she's a dog. Thelma Lou can't believe Barney would be so cruel to speak of her cousin in such a way, and she threatens never to speak to Barney again. Barney can't believe that his big plans for the dance are about to be dashed because of Mary Grace. Desperate, Barney solicits Andy's help to find a date for Mary Grace. Both Barney and Andy agree that the prospective person should be a little naive, or knave, as Barney would say. While they are discussing prospective candidates, Gomer Pyle happens to walk into the courthouse. Barney and Andy approach Gomer about taking Mary Grace to the big dance. Gomer is interested, but when he asks what she looks like, Barney and Andy change the subject by saying, she's nice. They are obviously concerned that if Gomer knows what Mary Grace looks like, he won't agree to take her. Finally, Gomer agrees to take Mary Grace, and the plans are set. However, Andy warns Gomer not to over-expect. On the night of the dance, Barney, Andy, and Gomer arrive at Thelma Lou's house to pick up the girls, including Andy's date, Helen Crump. Shortly after they arrive, Gomer excuses himself by saying that he has forgotten to do something. Thelma Lou and Helen are outraged. They can't believe Gomer would be so rude as to leave 5 minutes after arriving. Mary Grace tells Thelma Lou and Helen to go on to the dance with Andy and Barney. The girls hesitate at first, but finally agree to go. When they arrive at the dance, Thelma Lou is so mad that she refuses to get out of the car. The thought of standing in a stag line with a bunch of slumped-over teenagers doesn't appeal to Barney, so the foursome head back home. Meanwhile, there is a knock at the door back at Thelma Lou's house. Mary Grace answers, and it is Gomer, holding a corsage. Earlier, Gomer noticed that Thelma Lou and Helen had corsages, but Mary Grace did not. He thought it would be a shame for Mary Grace to go to the dance unadorned. Gomer apologizes for taking so long, but he had to go to 2 stores to find one with pink in it to match Mary Grace's dress. Mary Grace can't believe that Gomer would go to so much trouble just for her. Barney, Andy, Helen, and Thelma Lou return to the house to find Gomer and Mary Grace having a great time dancing to records. Without missing a beat, Gomer comments to Andy that he was right all along. Mary Grace is nice. She's real nice. While A Date for Gomer is an extremely funny episode, it has some serious undertones about how we treat one another. When Barney hears that Thelma Lou wants to find a date for Mary Grace, he immediately discounts the idea because, in his words, Mary Grace is a dog. Even for Barney, that assessment is pretty cruel. No mention of her personality or inner qualities, just a cheap shot at her appearance. Unfortunately, Andy's behavior isn't much better. He assumes that he will have to mislead Gomer in order to get him to commit to the dance. In an attempt to change the subject away from her appearance, Andy calls Mary Grace nice. This is obviously a statement to divert the conversation, but an attribute Gomer takes seriously. Gomer is the only one willing to give Mary Grace a chance. As genuine as Gomer is, it doesn't take much for the others to lose faith in him. When Gomer abruptly leaves the house soon after they arrive, everyone assumes that he is bolted because he doesn't think Mary Grace is pretty enough. But Gomer has a good heart. He isn't concerned about looks or having fun at the dance. He is concerned about Mary Grace. He wants the best for her, even if it requires a little extra effort. Gomer takes the time to look past the physical and see the person. And when he makes the effort to do that, he finds a person that Barney and Andy completely missed. Gomer finds Mary Grace to be really nice, and that is the real truth. To look at her, you wouldn't have thought that Anna amounted to much. She wasn't dressed very nicely, and she was a bit overweight. She obviously didn't have much money, or she wouldn't have been at the church to pick up food for her family. By most people's standards, she was a nobody, a tax on the welfare system, part of the problem, someone to be dismissed and ignored. What a shame it would be if people judged Anna solely on her physical appearance. Just saying hello to her made you feel good. She had the brightest smile and the friendliest attitude. We started talking, and I found out that she was the mother of 2 young children and had taken in another teenager because his mother would have nothing to do with him. Anna couldn't stand the thought of him growing up without anyone who cared. Anna's husband had recently left her because he couldn't handle the pressure of the new kid in the household. It seemed that when the boy first came to live with them, he had some major behavioral problems and was a load to handle. Anna didn't want her husband to leave, but she would not turn the boy out either. She decided to keep the boy in their house in hopes that one day she and her husband will work things out. With all of this going on, Anna is making a living by taking care of an elderly lady in the first stages of Alzheimer's disease. It is a challenging and thankless job, but in her heart, she knows that there is good in what she is doing. You see, Anna wants to go back to school one day and become a doctor. As another way to bring in money, she works part-time in a doctor's office to get some hands-on experience dealing with people as if she needs it. After talking with her for just 15 minutes, I realized that she is one of the most selfless, caring individuals I have ever met. During the whole conversation, she never mentioned her own needs. She didn't complain about how bad things were or how she had been handed a raw deal in life. Her only concern was for those around her. Another thing that really impressed me was Anna's patience and faith. She has gone through a lot in this life, but she seems content to wait on God. She knows she has problems. She knows that money is tight and the kids need food and clothing. She is still trying to repair her marriage, but she is at peace. She knows that God is going to work things out in His time, not hers, and she has the patience to wait on Him. I compare the physical blessings in my life with those of hers and wonder how I ever have the gall to complain. Compared to Anna, I have so much, yet my attitude of humility and selflessness doesn't come close to hers. She faces daily challenges I have never had to face, but she is content. She knows who is in control, and she knows that she will be taken care of. Even though we just met once, Anna is still a great inspiration to me. She gave me the encouragement and perspective I needed that day. And to think, I presumptuously thought that I would be the one encouraging her. This experience, along with this Mayberry episode, causes me to think about my attitude toward others. Do I automatically judge others by what they look like? If so, how many people like Anna have I missed getting to know? Above all else, this experience teaches me the blessings of getting to know the heart of a person. Anna was a special person, someone I will never forget. Whether or not she eventually becomes a doctor, she has already proven to be a great success to the ones whose lives she has touched. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time.